The effects of the US Supreme Court ruling to strike down Trump's emergency tariffs have been rippling through the US market overnight. Here with the latest, Garth Bray, host of Herald Now Business. Garth, good morning.
Good morning, Ryan.
So, more ripples from the Supreme Court decision. What do we know?
And the reaction, I guess, uncertainty is back. I guess you've seen stocks, the Wall Street S&P 500 down broadly. I think it's down about 1% last time I looked. You've seen the some overseas markets like the DAX dropping as well a little bit. FTSE's still pretty level at this point. Broadly, you're seeing, I guess, on the one hand, the idea that the overall burden of tariffs is going to drop. Most of the analysts say that it's basically going to reduce the overall burden, but there's just this uncertainty created by the reaction and the possible second-order effects if, the EU and other countries respond with retaliatory kind of measures and so on. And this whole notion that the way he's just put a flat tariff on everything effectively penalises, the UK, EU, Japan,
yeah, because they did deals.
Yeah, and
so what do the deals mean?
Well, the ones that didn't do deals basically have had a big uplift. That's your BRICS, minus Russia, obviously, and Southeast Asia. Now, it is showing up in some results. We've seen Apple's stock price is up, I think, about 1.6% intraday, and the same for Samsung. Apple's paid something like $3.3 billion worth of tariffs over the past 3 quarters. So whether they'll get that back or whether that cost is going to be off its books now, that's all sort of playing in. The dollar's slipped, I think, a little bit against its peers. People sort of punched their money to the Swiss franc and the Japanese yen as a sort of a safe haven and so on. So that's the broader picture anyway.
All right, what about here, your Fisher and Paykels, etc.?
Yeah, they were pretty coy. I think we wanted to try and have a chat to them yesterday, but they did make a sort of a late morning announcement, an update on their earnings guidance, and basically they said that that their year to 31 March it'll be, basically that they weren't going to say what the potential refund impact of tariffs were until they report all their results in May, but they have basically increased their guidance. They were previously saying that they were going to make 2.17 to 2.27 billion, and they'd make a net profit after tax of 410 to 460 million. And now they've pushed that to 450 to 470. So they're basically saying more demand for their product out of hospitals and doing pretty well there. And Lewis Graydon basically saying, good growth across the full range of products. But it's complex looking at all of the rules and rulings that have come out and the various free trade agreements and so on. So it's hard for them to actually pin down. Bear in mind they manufacture in a bunch of different countries and they need to sort of see how that all lands.
Retail trade spending, interesting numbers for the December quarter, including discretionary spending. This is stuff we don't need, but that we just sort of want, actually.
Yeah, a little something. I guess that was broadly, that was up 0.9%, right? 239 million. And annual growth was pretty encouraging at 4.4, quite broad-based. If we want to take a look at what happens when Garth plays around with AI, here's a little something I whipped up with Claude, if you want to pop up that heat map of New Zealand, which sort of shows you, Canterbury looks quite pendulous in that map, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, depends on which way you look at things, I suppose.
Or a bit saggy maybe, but it isn't saggy. That was up about 3% in terms of spend. And I guess you saw the other regions, Hawke's Bay doing really, really well. And your West Coast and your, your Taranaki dropping slightly. So, I mean, that's basically sort of giving you a picture of the country and how that looked in December.
I think it's not too bad, actually.
If you're a 5-year-old with crayons or Garth let loose with Claude.
It gives you the picture, doesn't it? It gives you the general idea.
It gives you the general idea. But, I mean, obviously, so we saw pharmaceuticals retailing up and electrical goods up as well, hardware spending. So, I guess, some sort of home improvement stuff going on. Obviously, you can sort of see where things were turning up. But interesting as well, the data showed 10 out of 15 of the groups that they measure showed price increases and only 5 showed decreases. So it's maybe a bit of a hint of that sort of inflation, sticky inflation wind starting to blow through.
Yes, but these numbers, the discretionary spend is ahead of inflation, isn't it? So it's not just accounting for inflation, it's actually us buying more stuff, which is good news. Garth, good to see you as always. Garth Bray, host of Herald Now Business.